is okay, right? All right, no. IGF-1, PAHs, HCAs, PhIP, and dioxins and PCBs. So polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, they're a group of over 200 man-made chemicals that are oily liquids or solids, but they're clear to yellow in color and they have no smell or taste. So it's super convenient because when you eat them, you don't know. And they're resistant to extreme temperature and pressure, so you can't cook them out. And they were used widely in electrical equipment like capacitors and oil plasticizers, with over 1 billion pounds of PCBs manufactured in the US by Monsanto Inc. Huh? Monsanto? Wait, how do I know that? GMO seeds, Roundup, glyphosate. Anyway, PCB use ended in 1977 because of health effects associated with exposure. Yeah, I would say so, since dioxins are PCBs and were the main ingredient in Agent Orange. You know, the herbicide the US military sprayed all over Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos during the Vietnam War. Why? To eliminate forest cover for enemy troops so they couldn't hide. Remember Smokey the Bear and only you can prevent forest fires? Apparently, American troops would joke about Agent Orange and say, only you can prevent a forest. It's pretty funny, sort of, except that it didn't kill just the trees. It caused a host of deadly or debilitating diseases and millions of people exposed, including 2.4 million American troops. So fish. PCBs are still around because they're super stable and they've leaked into the environment through spills and improper disposal. So we're mostly exposed to PCBs by, you guessed it, eating contaminated fish and meat and dairy products. They're stored in your fatty tissues and they hang out for a very long time. Doing what? We're not so sure, but the IARC has classified them as group 2A, probably carcinogenic to humans. But given the industrial contaminants in fish, as an analysis in Food and Chemical Toxicology stated, 12 years ago, if people choose to get their recommended long-chain omega-3 intake from fish, the majority of consumers would exceed the safety limits for dioxins and dioxin-like substances like PCBs. Another thing about fish, mercury. And fish that eat other fish and who live longer have the highest levels of methylmercury because they have had more years to absorb it from the water. And consuming those fish excessively, which is defined as more than 3 to 4 servings of fish per month, elevates mercury levels and causes about a 5% drop in cognitive function, which is ironic since you were probably eating the fish because you heard fish promotes brain health. Another problem, microplastics and microbeads. They're like little, very, very tiny pieces of manufactured polyethylene plastic that are added to exfoliants, to health and beauty products, cleansers, toothpaste. Just these ubiquitous tiny little pieces of plastic really can harm aquatic life, but they also get into the fish, which then get into you when you eat the fish. And then they might release compounds like PCBs and BPA, the biphenyl in plastic. And that can cause hormone disruption, cancer risk, DNA damage, fiber, or rather the lack thereof. 97% of Americans get more than the recommended amount of protein every single day. And yet 97% of Americans do not get the wimpy recommendation of 30 grams of fiber every day. And your fish isn't helping you, but you are getting enough protein even without the fish. Okay, saturated fat and cholesterol, the fat problem. Okay, so imagine if you're a farm-raised salmon, you're kept in a pen, you're fed grain, and you're unable to swim. You're also given a bunch of like antibiotics and other things because you're in this skanky little pool. But you, just like the fish wiggling in place, would be fat. So this is a 2014 photo of a fish farm, by the way, of all places in Vietnam. Vietnam. Are you thinking what I was thinking? Yeah, I thought it, and I did the research for you. Vietnam, where did Vietnam export fish to in 2017? More fish to the US than to any other country. Hi, Agent Orange. All right. So what about this whole fat thing? Half of a fillet of farm salmon has 412 calories, with 243 of them coming from fat. That's 59% of each bite, gushing saturated fat into your mouth. Wait, but wild caught, that's better, right? Wild is certainly a much better choice with fewer calories and the same amount of protein, half the fat, but fewer of the healthier omega-3 fats. Oh, honey, did you just, I know what you just did. You immediately thought, oh, okay then. She says I can have wild salmon. Of course you can. I'm not your mother. But in that instant, did you forget about the list? IGF-1, PAHs, HCAs, BIP, mercury, toxins, PCBs, microplastics, microbeads, fiber, saturated fat, and cholesterol. All right. If I buy all this jabber about meat, where am I going to get my protein? Oh, ye of little faith. 97% of people get more than the recommended amount every day. Here's where you're going to get your protein.